quick turnaround for Newcastle. They take on League Two AFC Wimbledon here tonight at St James's Park. I believe there's going to be about 51,000 fans here tonight, so a great crowd considering the stage of the competition we're at, the level of opponent and everything that goes with it. 1,400 fans coming up from London for an unexpected chance to see their team play at St James's Park, and Newcastle will have to have the professional heads on. Eddie Howe before the game talking about how he wants his team to be patient, try and break them down, but ultimately they know that there's a place in the fourth round at stake, a chance to set up a date with Chelsea here. But Newcastle can't jump too far ahead with that. They've got to take Wimbledon very seriously. I'm pretty sure they will win. Should they win? Well, there should be no shoulds in football, as they say, but I think ultimately for Newcastle, if they go at it the way they went against Man City, then they should get the job done tonight. In terms of performance level, obviously it was only 1-1 against City. We don't want to draw here tonight because that would take us to penalties and then it gets into a nervous territory. But ultimately for Newcastle, a big win would be nice, morale boosting win, give other players an opportunity, but ultimately Newcastle go into this as hot favourites and looking to do the job tonight of getting into round 4. Newcastle United got the job done here against League Two Wimbledon, but I have to be honest, it wasn't the prettiest affair we've ever seen here. I don't think you're going to get too many spectacular games in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup, but Newcastle here created enough chances, 18 odd chances, and had about 80% possession, but scraped through thanks to Fabian Schär's penalty in the first half. Wimbledon, they were plucky, they battled hard, they made a good account of themselves, or far from a disgrace, but ultimately Newcastle always looked like the team in control. Wimbledon didn't create much until right till the end, and Newcastle go through to set up a fourth round clash against Chelsea in the next round. Not too much to write home about here really. Newcastle shading it 1-0, clean sheet. Probably the negative is that Martin Dubravka came off with an injury at half time after he got nailed in the box. So Newcastle, another goalkeeper down, and a very big disappointment for Martin Dubravka. But ultimately Newcastle go through 1-0, and it hasn't been a spectacular night. Great crowd, 51,000 here, but yeah, no classic. So very much to come after the storm now. St James's Park deserted after the 1-0 win against Wimbledon, and yeah, talking to Eddie Howe in his press conference just down there now, and basically he agreed with my assessment that it was instantly forgettable. Said this game won't live long in the memory, but the main thing is we're through to the next round. And to be truthful, Newcastle, they dominated the clash, but it was against the League Two side. They should have the game tucked up long before the final whistle, and it took a penalty to get through. So while you could say it was easy for Newcastle when you look at the statistics, Wimbledon, the door was open for Wimbledon right until the end, and had that late chance. It was one of the only chances, but Newcastle would have been kicking themselves if it had gone to penalties and anything negative had happened. But look, Newcastle are through. We're positive about it. They set up a big game against Chelsea in the next round, and they keep up that bit of momentum after the draw with City. A clean sheet here and a victory, you can't really argue with that. And I think Newcastle fans went home from here probably a bit subdued at the end, but look, they got through. That was all that mattered, and that's all that ever was going to matter tonight. So positive. Keeps Newcastle's unbeaten record at home going as well. Takes them to that game against Everton on Saturday night. A game that they'd love to win. Could well be their last visit to Goodison Park unless they draw them in the FA Cup. But ultimately, Newcastle, they're building. That's what I get the sense here. A little bit of an injury concern for Martin Dubravka earlier in the game. A knee injury. Striker going in and nailing him, but I think really for Dubravka that was just an absolute blow, because this was one of his only opportunities to really impress this season. But thankfully Newcastle got through the game pretty much unscathed in terms of other injuries. Fabian Schär went off as a precaution. Harvey Barnes was a pre-planned substitution. So look, Newcastle, they've got through this game, they move on, and the feeling is positive here, I think. Still in this competition. I asked Eddie Howe if this was the best opportunity for Newcastle to win a trophy. I think he pretty much agreed with us. I think he knows that last 16 now, chance to get in the quarterfinals against Chelsea. Still work to be done, but you know, he referred back to the Carabao Cup run to the final in 2023, and he knows that was a big day for him and a big day for the club. And if Newcastle could repeat that success this season, then that would be absolutely fantastic. So this could be one of the steps on the road, but overall positives to take from it. Looking at the front line, William Asula and Miguel Almiron, they had their chances. It would have been a much more comfortable night had one of them taken it. I spoke to William Asula after the game as well. He seemed a little bit disappointed not to get that goal, but you know, he knows he's pushing, he knows he's in that position where he's ready to step in. But I think he could have done with a goal tonight. Sadly didn't get it, but Newcastle go through anyway. Fourth round tie against Chelsea away, but it's on to Everton next on Saturday night before the second international break of the season.